This book is called The Magic Feather Duster. King Tut and I are going to be reading it to you. He's going to be listening, and I'm going to be reading. The book is written by Will Lipkind, and it's illustrated by Nicholas Mordmanoff. And they both use just their first names. It was published in 1958. A feather duster is this. This is a feather duster, and you use it to clean things off. And it plays a very important part in the story. You'll see it. This is the feather duster right here. This is the witch, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 brothers and a frog, and there's some cats in the story too. The Magic Feather Duster by Will and Nicholas. There's the frog with his apple. Once upon a time, in the time before clocks, 4 brothers lived in a cave. Since they had nobody to look after them, that means take care of them, they didn't have parents, they took care of themselves. And if they made a muddle, that means if they got into trouble, at least there was nobody to scold. Scold means to get angry at them. Eldest brother. Eldest means oldest. He's the oldest brother. He ran like a greyhound and jumped like a flea. Second brother ate more when he was not hungry than other people ate when they were hungry. Third brother could pluck a branch from an oak tree with one pull, and youngest brother was the quiet one. So one was very fast, one ate a lot, one was very strong, and the other one was a thinker. And he also had feelings, strong feelings about things. He thought a lot and felt a lot. Near the cave stood a house on stilts where an old woman lived with her cats. There was always a cat going up the ladder and a cat going down the ladder, and half a dozen cats dozing on the roof. The old woman and the brothers saw a good deal of each other. Every Wednesday the old woman came to supper, and sometimes they had potatoes and sometimes turnips. And after supper, they sat by the fire and talked. Sunday dinner was always at the old woman's house. They sat down to a large table with nothing on it but a cloth. The old woman brought out her feather duster and waved it over the table. Good things to eat came flying out of the air and set themselves down on the cloth. They ate until they couldn't sit up, and then they rolled on the floor and played with the cats. Even second brother left the table to join the fun, but he took with him in his pockets a few tidbits to nibble from time to time. One Sunday on their way home, second brother said, "I wish we had the feather duster." It was easy to see what he was thinking about. "I could grab it and run," said eldest brother, "and who could catch me?" "Just get your hands on the feather duster," said third brother. "I'll see to it that nobody takes it away." They kept talking this way until youngest brother spoke up. "Wouldn't it be better to ask the old woman for it?" "Why not?" said the others. "Let's do it right now." And they turned back to the old woman's house. The old woman was not surprised to see them. "Ask what you have come to ask," she sang out in a voice that made a silence after it. None of them was in a hurry to speak now. At last eldest brother murmured, "The feather duster." "Ah, you want my old web winder. You shall have it. You shall have it, if you can win it. Just bring me an apple from the crooked apple tree across the brook. But it must be the right apple, mind you." Eldest brother was the first to move. He ran to the brook. One leap and he was over. He ran up the hill. One glance at the apple tree was all he needed. The big red one at the top. That's the one, he thought. Up he went from branch to branch and plucked the apple. He was back at the brook. Brook is water, flowing water. In a flash, a frog sitting on a stone croaked at him sadly. "Give it to me. Give it to me." It seemed to say, "Ah, what would you do with an apple, you old paddler?" said oldest brother, and on he ran. He handed the apple to the old woman. "Not the right apple," she said with a cold smile. "Run, run, I'll give you what to run for." She waved the feather duster over his head, and he turned into a rabbit, and the four and the cats scampered after him. Second brother got to the apple tree next. He thought, "The best way to get the right apple is to pick as many as I can carry." He filled his pockets and crammed his shirt and started back with his hands full. As he walked, he ate the apples one by one. At the brook, the frog on the stone said, "Give it to me, give it to me." "What would you do with an apple, you old croaker?" said second brother, and he strolled on, eating as he went. He had just one apple left when he reached the old woman, and he handed it to her. "Not the right apple," she said with a cold smile. "Eat, eat, now try to keep from being eaten." She waved the feather duster over his head, and he turned into a mouse, and the cats scampered after him. Third brother got to the apple tree next. The right apple must be the hardest one to get, he thought. He saw an apple way out at the tip of the biggest branch. He bent the branch down and plucked the apple. At the brook, the frog on the stone said, "Give it to me, give it to me." "What would you do with an apple, you old splasher?" said third brother, and trudged on. He handed the apple to the old woman. "Not the right apple," she said with a cold smile. "Strong, strong, I'll give you what to be strong for." And she waved the feather duster over his head, and he turned into a bear. Eldest brother rabbit and second brother mouse, one step ahead of the cats, ran to third brother bear for help. They sprang to his shoulders, the cats after them. Third brother bear struck out with his great paws to fend off the leaping cats. Youngest brother reached the apple tree last. "Since there is no telling which is the right apple," he thought, "one will do as well as another." And rather than pick an apple that was still growing, he found a ripe one that had fallen. At the brook, the frog on the stone said, "Give it to me, give it to me." "Do you want the apple?" asked youngest brother. "I need it, I need it," said the frog. "If you need it, take it," said youngest brother, and he gave the apple to the frog. The frog took one big hop to the bank and vanished, and in its place stood the old woman with the apple in her hand. "That was the right apple," she said, and her smile was kind. "You have won the feather duster, and with it the house and cats. I know you will take good care of them. Goodbye." And she was gone in the air like smoke. Youngest brother walked to the house. He saw third brother bear, worn out with holding off the cats, and eldest brother rabbit and second brother mouse, shaking with fright. Youngest brother waved the feather duster over them all, and there stood his three brothers, only a little the worse for wear. The cats, for their part, went quietly about their business. "A bit of food wouldn't be bad now," said second brother. "Everything in good time," said youngest brother. "The old woman said the house and the cats are ours now, to keep and to care for. First, let's set things to rights." Without further talk, they went to work, and the feather duster came in handy as a feather duster. What a wonderful story. about being kind and not being selfish, and about a magic feather duster by Will and Nicholas. I hope you enjoyed this great story. And I know Tut enjoyed it too, didn't you, darling? Thank you, Robert, for filming.